I'm not going to name the band because I'm not sure which band it was, but it was a big, famous band was in town. And we were invited to the gig and to the after party. And so the manager of his band came up and said, Mr. Phillips, he says, what's the secret of rock and roll? You know, my dad had these evangelical eyes, you know, like he could have been a preacher. In fact, he kind of wanted to be. But he looked him right in the eye and he said, well, son, you got to reach way down deep inside yourself and pull it out of your asshole.
I've always felt like you go to places like Memphis or Muscle Shoals to find yourself, creative outlets, like I believe our recording studio is one of those places, where you come in to create. You're not following anything. You just go way down deep inside of yourself and you know, and release your feelings and tell a story, and you capture that. And when you do that authentically, it conveys and it connects and it makes an impact on people and their lives, and it moves them. And I just think people, whether they realize it or not, they feel the real thing. Like, it's that thing that you just can't put your finger on, that energy, when you're being authentic and true to yourself, and the musicians around you are that way. It is captured in a recording. And I love that. I love that style of recording. I'm glad there's places like our studio left that record that way. You know, sadly, there's not a whole lot.
Yeah, and I said, hello, baby. How have you been? Well, it's just me, honey. I'm back in town again. You know I've been rocking, rolling all over the world. Yeah, won't you listen up, honey, 'cause you're still my number one girl. I had to leave town in a hurry. I didn't want you to worry. But how about a date, baby? But don't you be late, 'cause I've been rocking, rolling all over the world. Yeah, won't you listen up, honey, 'cause you're still my number one girl. All right now, John Paul Key, y'all. Come on, TJ. Yeah, now you say you wanna know just where I've been, honey, around the moon. I flew back again. You know I've been rocking, rolling all over the world. Yeah, won't you listen up, honey, 'cause you're still my number one girl. All right, one more time, boys.
When I started hearing Jerry perform, because Jerry's always got his guitar with him and he's always working on songs, and the more I heard his songs, the more I just started thinking to myself, like, man, Jerry should make a record. And I'm a big fan of the Jesters, his band, his garage band he had with Jim Dickinson. I love those recordings. I have a copy of that single. It's one of my favorite 45s on Sun. So before I met Jerry, I was a Jerry Phillips fan. But the more I heard these songs, the more I thought, man, he needs to record these. And I talked to Hallie Phillips, and Hallie would say, yeah, you know, Dad really needs a record. And Jerry would sometimes mention recording. And when I first came to work over here, a friend of mine over at the Stax Museum called and said, I hear you're going over to Sam Phillips recording. I said, yeah, I am. I'm real excited about it. He said, well, I think Sam Phillips recording needs a Stax console. And I said, well, I wouldn't disagree with that. That sounds good to me. And I knew they had the console that was originally in Studio B at Stax Records. I knew they had that in their archives there. And I never was sure what they were going to do with it. And I'd gone over there a couple times and looked at it. So we ended up getting it and refurbishing it. And the closer we got to installing the console, the more Jerry started saying, you know, I think I want to be the first person to record through this console when it gets operational. I said, well, I think you should be the first person. I don't know, something magic to me happened with the sound of that console, with the sound of this room, and with Jerry's material and the way the musicians approach the material. It all came together. And sometimes in sessions, you know, it all come together with the right artist, the right song, the right musicians, the right room. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you may have one or two of those elements, but it's rare that they all come together at once. But I feel like with Jerry's record and the sessions we did, I feel like all those elements came together.
South of the border, she lies. Long dark hair, black widow eyes. She waits for the lonely man. She waits 'cause she understands. She waits 'cause she knows he'll come to her black widow eyes. Happiness is not her game. Broken hearts has gained her fame. She's dealing in loneliness, using her sweet caress. For miles they'll come, making that ride to her black widow eyes. She avoids, you know, the light of day, slipping through the darkness is how she makes her way. She don't think it's wrong, I heard her say, but when you meet the devil, there's always hell to pay. She got your black widow eyes. Spins her web as the night closes in, collecting the wages of sin. She lures you with innocence, controls you at your expense, filling you up with nothing but light from her black widow eyes. She avoids, you know, the light of day, slipping through the darkness is how she makes her way. She don't think it's wrong, I heard her say, but when you meet the devil, there's always hell to pay. She got your black widow eyes. She got a black widow eyes. She got your black widow eyes. She got black widow eyes.
We ran at each other and started to write with each other in Mississippi. And it was just felt natural. It felt just like water flowing. It was easier than writing with most people I write with because I struggle, you know. But writing with Jerry just seemed natural. You know, we bounced words off each other, bounced lyrics off and chords off, and it just worked for us. We had a little system going, and We'd write the song right there, fire up the recorder and record it. And that was our demo. Who wouldn't give anything to grow up like he did? Go hang out with Elvis when you want to. Who grew up like that? I love riding with him.
He's just one of the coolest guys on the planet, you know, and he's an authentic person. I mean, there is no other Jerry Phillips. Nobody sounds like him, nobody acts like him, you know. He embarrasses me sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. He's the best. I love it. I'm very proud to be his daughter.
I love you 24/6, not 7, working all week. That ain't a living, I gotta have a break. Or go crazy, just a little space. I love you, baby, both of us are taking, not giving. I love you 24/6, not 7. I could take a break, you could too. But do anything that you wanna do. I could get drunk, honey, you could get high. It just might keep us from saying bye-bye. Yeah, I love you 24/6, not 7. Don't get me wrong. Don't wanna leave you, but how you gonna know? You'd ever miss me till you get back home and you get to kiss me. It's just a match I made up in heaven. I love you 24/6. All right, come on. But do anything that you wanna do. I could get drunk, honey, you could get high. It just might keep us from saying bye-bye. Yeah, I love you 24/6, not 7. Don't get me wrong. Don't wanna leave you, but how you gonna know, baby? You'd ever miss me till you get back home and you get to kiss me. It's just a match I made up in heaven. I love you 24/6, not 7. It's a match made up in heaven. I love you 24/6, not 7. It's a match made up in heaven. 24/6, not 7.
You know, Jerry and I, we're friends. I totally would call him a friend, and that's the way we treat each other. But I always say I get to hear these records being made around the corner. You know, I hear when they're working on one song for 5 hours or one overdub, you know, it drives me crazy just like it probably drives everybody else crazy. There really wasn't any of that on Jerry's record. I heard it come together as a very organic live record. I'd hear one song coming out for a while and hear him work through it, and then they'd be on to the next thing, you know. And Jerry told me, I think he only overdubbed maybe one line on the whole record. His vocals were live, and that's kind of what Phillips recording service is about, is recording all musicians live in the same room playing together. That's the specialty, if there is one here. You can go to lots of studios and isolate everybody and use the best gear, pull it all apart, make sure every little individual component is perfect, and then try to put that together again. But here it's more based on casting the right characters, having the great songs, and performing it live and feeding off the energy of each other live in a recording. And that's what you hear when you hear a record that's, if it's done well, which most times it is, comes out of Sam Phillips recording service. And then, you know, Jerry asked me to cut the lacquers for the vinyl release. Of course, yes, is the answer. And to hear it from around the corner to where now I'm focused on every detail and it's in a stereo perspective coming out of my two speakers in my room while I'm setting up the machine to make the cut, it was really a cool experience. And I get to do that a lot here, you know. A lot of times it's just, again, because I'm around the corner, even if it's bands from out of town or whatever, people end up hanging out in my room because they may have never seen a record cut before, and it fascinates people. So you start talking about it, and, you know, down the road when they're done, they're like, you want to cut my records? Sure, you know. So the ones that move me emotionally, they sound like someplace, you know. I can't hardly listen to the modern radio. I know I'm older in years, and that might be part of it, but those don't sound like any place. It sounds like they spend a lot of money in a nice studio, and they crafted this roar to come out of the speakers, and it wears me out to listen to it most of the time. That song in particular, and the fact that it's partly a talk-sing record, you know, there's parts of the song and the verses where he's talking. That's hard to pull off and not sound fake or cheesy or sound like you're reading it. It sounded like he was talking to who he's singing the song to, and that ends up being you. He's telling a story. And I just immediately loved it, man. It took me back to a kind of a 70s vibe, you know, even like maybe a Chris Christopherson record or something like that. Just the way it was put together, the instrumentation, and, you know, I got to be careful too. I can't come running around the corner every time I hear something like, no, that's the one right there. I don't ever do that, but when we're having a beer or something upstairs, you know, sometimes if he asks, I was like, whatever that song is, man, that is amazing.
You know, Good Side, Bad Side, The Side of Crazy Too is a very personal song. It definitely had us all emotional when he recorded it. It talks about my parents, you know, splitting apart and him not seeing us for a little while. And my dad's a rocker. Like, he doesn't get real intimate and personal very often. So for me, that's a favorite of mine because it's very personal to me. It means a lot to have that, you know, that I can keep and cherish forever. That he allowed himself to be that vulnerable and share that side of him. Because usually my dad just likes to talk about rock and roll and women, and he's not usually just like the super intimate fella.
My name is Jerry Phillips. I got a band that plays across town. I don't mess much with the women, 'cause they kinda always drag me down. You say you wanna know something about me? Well, honey, I don't mind. I've got a good side, I got a bad side, a side of crazy too. Yeah, I've been married 2 times. I got some kids. I really miss them, you know. Can't wait to see them again. Say you wanna know something about me? Well, honey, I don't mind. I got a good side, I got a bad side, side of crazy too. Yeah, I got a good side, I got a bad side, side of crazy too. Like everybody else, I'm no stranger to the rain. Like everybody else, I've had my share of pain. like everybody else. I'm no stranger to the rain. Like everybody else, I've had my share of pain. I know I'm gonna make it, 'cause only the strong survive. And right now, baby, I'm just glad to be alive. You wanna know something about me? Well, honey, I don't mind. I've got a good side, I got a bad side, side of crazy too. I got a good side, I got a bad side, side of crazy too. I got a good side, I got a bad side, side of crazy too. I got a good side, I got a bad side, side of crazy too. I got a good side, I got a bad side, side of crazy too.
This legacy that's been built here is I'm proud of it. You know, I'm proud of the legacy a lot. And I ran from it for a long time, but I don't run from it anymore. You know, when I go into some place and nobody knows who I am, they usually like me, you know, and I don't go in broadcasting what my family history is, but usually when after they've met me and I'm gone away, and then somebody will say, you know who that guy was? And they go, no. He said, well, that was Sam Phillips' son, the guy who started, and everything. And in other words, it kicks in that way as a positive, instead of me walking in going, yeah, my dad was Sam Phillips, he started Elvis Presley and all of that kind of stuff, I just don't think people, I made the statement that I didn't want to be, nothing against Julian Lennon, but I know that guy had a hard time probably, getting out from under the shadow of John Lennon. And I know he had some records, some hits, and I don't know how they came about. I think his music was good and all that, but it's almost, people, I have people tell me, well, you're Jerry Phillips, man, you should be able to walk into any door anywhere and get anything you want done, and it's just not true. Because once I get in the door, really all they want to talk about is Elvis or Johnny Cash or Jerry Lewis, and they're not really interested in my record, you know what I mean? I'm just saying it can be a blessing and a curse. And I'm at the point now in my life where it's a blessing. My whole legacy is a blessing, and I don't really care whether anybody likes it or not. Likes my legacy, but I've left a piece of something for when I'm gone, and that sounds corny as hell, but the truth of the matter is when I'm gone, my daughters and grandkids can pick up that album and say, well, did you know, this was your G-Daddy. I said, don't call me Pawpaw or anything. I might have a date.
I come from Memphis, on the outskirts of town. I don't know it all, but I've been around. I ain't no movie star, but I aim to please, baby. 'Cause I got skills that you ain't never seen, but you got to tell me what you want. Tell me how you need it. Show me how to touch you, baby, to make you feel it. Break it down in detail, every little desire. you know, baby, I wanna light your fire, you gotta specify. Tell me what you want me to do. Easy, boy. I can take directions, I can follow a plan. I can be your lover, or just be your friend. I could lift you up, baby. I could lay you down. I could leave right now, honey. I could hang around, but you got to tell me what you want. Tell me how you need it. Show me how to touch you, baby, to make you feel it. Break it down in detail, come on, y'all. Have a little desire. Don't you know, baby, I wanna light your fire, you gotta specify. Come on now, tell me what you want me to do. All right, John Paul Key. I know you want me, honey. I can see it in your eyes. You know I need it, baby. That ain't no surprise. Any invitation, won't you give me a chance? You got the power, baby. I'm at your command, but you got to tell me what you want. Tell me how you need it. Show me how to touch you, baby, to make you feel it. Break it down in detail, have a little desire. Don't you know, baby, I wanna light your fire, you gotta specify. Come on, y'all, tell me what you want me to do. All right now, Mr. T.J. Bonta. From Memphis, on the outskirts of town. Don't know it all, baby, but I've been around. I ain't no movie star, but I aim to please. Cause I got skills, honey, that you ain't never seen. But you got to tell me what you want. Tell me how you need it. Show me how to touch you, baby, to make you feel it. Break it down in detail, have a little desire. Don't you know, baby, I wanna light your fire, you gotta specify. Let's give the guitar player some more. I know you want me, honey. I can see it in your eyes. You know I need it, and that ain't no surprise. An invitation, won't you give me a chance? You got the power, baby, I'm at your command. But you got to tell me what you want. Tell me how you need it. Show me how to touch you, baby, to make you feel it. Break it down in detail, have a little desire. Don't you know, baby, I wanna light your fire, you gotta specify. Tell me what you want me to do. Yeah, baby, specify. Tell me what you want me to do. Specify. Tell me what you want me to do.
Me being raised by who I was raised by, being at the forefront of rock and roll music, and having the ability to be around Elvis and B.B. King and Howlin' Wolf and Ike Turner, and having a father that said, just be yourself, man, you know, don't copy anybody or be fiercely independent, which is what he kind of taught us, you know. My brother and I, Knox, he was a big part of all of this. He really was. He died, I think, 3 years ago. But Knox was the keeper of the flame, kind of, you know, while I was kind of running off doing things when I should have been here. But being Jerry Phillips is great now. I mean, I had some problem with it at certain times in my life as far as being in the shadow of Sam Phillips, because he cast a big shadow, you know, and still does, really does. But I think the best part of being Jerry Phillips was just the way I was raised, with around the people I was around, and having the ability to grow up in a recording studio and learn how to, you know, produce, engineer, make masters, acetate masters. It's just been great. And right now, being Jerry Phillips is wonderful for me, because I'm older, and I realize what all that really meant, you know. It was so common at the time. It really wasn't common. I mean, when Elvis came in and stuff like that to our house, there wasn't anything common about that. He was the whole molecular structure of the room changed, you know, honestly it did. You know, he was one of those charismatic guys that brought stuff with him when he came. But anyway, yeah, being Jerry Phillips is great, and I'm proud of the legacy that I have, you know. After everybody's gone from studio, and I'm sitting up here sometimes, you know, just by myself, reflecting on this place, and we're 65 years here, you know. And sometimes, you know, I feel like Sam's here, because he is here. I mean, he is here. It's not a weird, spooky thing, but I mean, his influence is all over this building, and I know that he gambled everything on being, you know, making great music, because and actually he wanted to give black people an opportunity, because he didn't think they was going to get one. And he was raised, you know, picking cotton beside him and all that kind of stuff. So I really, when I'm sitting in here by myself, I'm just really appreciative of what he accomplished, you know, and how hard it was. A lot of people think Elvis just walked through the door and okay, that's it. He's off to the races, and you know, he didn't have to worry about anything else. But rock and roll was not the most popular thing in the world when it came on the scene. We could talk all day about how it all happened and how it changed it's still changing people, man. You know, it's still changing. I mean, I think it's 500,000 people that go through Graceland every year. And I think about 200,000 or something go through Sun. You know, this is 65 years, well, it's actually 70-something years from Sun. Still, still going on, man. I am the prodigal son, I really am. And I don't know if you know that story in the Bible or not, and I'm not a crazy Bible freak or anything like that, but I do read it every once in a while just to see what's in there. And the prodigal son was the guy that he wanted everything that his daddy had, and just go ahead and give me my part, and I'm leaving the family. You know, just give me my part. I'm going. Anyway, so he ends up leaving and spends all his money on women and everything you could do back in those days, and then ends up in a pigsty eating the food they're feeding the pigs. You know. And so he went back home. You know, he went back home. Now I didn't eat any pig food, but it just I did come back. You know, I woke up one day. I'd been loading trucks. I'd been cleaning swimming pools. I'd been in the Army. I'd done everything I could possibly do to not be part of this organization because I felt like I was just overshadowed. I woke up one day and said, "Man, what are you doing? You know, you got a studio and just go on back. Just go back." So I came back, and they never brought up. My dad never reminded me that I left, you know, and that my brother never said, "What an asshole you are," or for leaving me here, you know, with all of this. And they just said, they just welcomed me back, and you know, I've been back ever since. And this has been a long time now, but you know, it was love, is what it was. You know, love overcomes a lot of things, man. And I did a lot of things I probably shouldn't have done, you know, in my lifetime. I was a motorcycle rider. I was a wrestler. I was a woman chaser, and you know, all that kind of stuff. But it's what made me who I am today, you know.
I just walk out, the tires on my car. I don't know, baby, where my sunglasses are. But if you're asking me what I need a new pair of everything. I'm wearing holes in the shoes on my feet. I've heard some things, you know, I just can't repeat. If you're asking me what I need a new pair of everything. I've had my good times, had my bad. I've done some things, you know, I wish I never had. I'm not gonna give up, baby. No, I ain't not going down. That don't mean my world, it ain't spinning round and round. All right. I've had my good time, had my bad. I've done some things, you know, I wish I never had. I'm not gonna give up, baby. No, I'm not going down. That don't mean my world, it ain't spinning round and round. All right, I just got home. I'm working all day, hard-working man, for just a little pay. But if you're asking me what I need a new pair of everything.